Welcome, everyone, to the Sonoma Spiel. My name is Tim with the Sonoma Valley Visitors Bureau. It's a little crazy out there. People are yelling at each other. People are getting mad. It's some tense times out there. And today I would have calmed down had I gone to the farmer's market. I didn't go to the farmer's market today, and I should have. Instead, I went and got a really good Cubano sandwich. Delicious. Got some of those potato chips we talked about last week. And that was all in preparation because I had to think of how do we talk about people who bring in other people to talk? And how do we learn to listen to other points of view? And can we do that? And especially when you come to Sonoma Valley, which is my day job and what pays for this podcast, how do you learn to do that? So today I have a very special guest. And I know every week I say I have a very special guest, but this time I do actually mean it. This week I actually mean it because she brings in different people to talk to Sonoma Valley, people from all over the world, so that we can listen and learn. And we have Kathy Witkowicki with the Sonoma Speaker Series. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Was that the intro was fueled by potato chips and a Cubano sandwich?
Love it. Love it.
And we're ready.
You are definitely ready.
Kathy, well, first of all, how are you doing today? You're good?
I'm great. It's sunny outside. The rain has stopped. It's almost the weekend.
I know. It was a little hairy there for a little bit.
Definitely hairy.
Pretty impressive. And for those that don't know, Sonoma kind of is at the foot of a large valley called the Sonoma Valley, and that water drains down. And it goes right down First Street West, evidently.
Yes, evidently, because it was closed.
Mm-hmm. And then down our favorite roundabout, which is south of town, that area was also flooding as you get up toward Carnero. So I'm glad we survived that.
Me too.
Yeah. Do you have a kayak at home just in case?
No, but I should get one.
Yeah, invest in one.
Yes.
Well, Kathy, tell me, what is the Sonoma Speaker Series?
Well, glad you asked.
Yeah.
So the Sonoma Speaker Series is a nonprofit organization because isn't everything.
Yeah.
And we bring speakers from all over the United States. Okay. You said the world. We haven't quite conquered the world.
Well, it seems that way.
But we're getting there. And they speak about all sorts of things from politics, art, sports, celebrity, science, and inspiration.
Okay.
And they're usually experts in whatever field they're in, or they've got a great story to tell. And we have an interview process. So they don't just get up there and spew at you.
Right.
We have an interview for 1 hour, and then we have Q&A with the audience for the half hour after that.
That's wonderful.
So the audience gets a chance to participate and ask their questions directly. It's not postcards or writing it down on an index card. It's a direct raise their hand. Yeah.
Kathy, let me ask, how did this whole thing start? What's the story there?
Great question. Love to tell this story. So I was with the Mentoring Alliance, started that in 1996, and worked at the Mentoring Alliance for almost 20 years, and I decided to retire. And then I failed miserably at retirement.
Good.
I say I got bored and boring very quickly.
Okay, yeah.
I had no more stories to tell, and I didn't really feel like I had much of a purpose.
Okay.
So after about a year, I decided I wanted to start a speaker series. I had done some speakers as fundraisers when I was with the Mentoring Alliance.
Okay.
I had done one at the Vets Building with General Zinni, and he was in charge of the whole Middle East during the whole ISIS crisis.
Oh, wow.
And then I had done one at the Sebastiani Theater it was supposed to be with Newsom and his wife.
Oh.
So unfortunately, Newsom got stuck in a very bad snowstorm at the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And that he never showed up. But
Really?
Jennifer Siebel Newsom, his wife, did show up.
Well, that's better.
She was amazing.
I'm going to go on record.
Yeah.
The governor,
Yeah.
back when he was the mayor of San Francisco,
Yes.
he's got a couple tricks in his bag, right?
Yeah.
He's got extraordinary.
Yes.
He uses his fingers like this a lot.
Yes.
We've all seen it. So I think Jennifer Siebel was a good get.
She was a great get,
Yeah.
and actually I've gone on to have her at other events. She's with the film festival. She's been here quite a bit. She's an amazing woman and doing amazing things.
And did she was it the same format where you did the question
Yes,
and answer thing?
it was the same format, and she was great. And I did offer everyone their money back because Gavin did not.
Oh no,
was
they
not
were going to
there.
pay double. They're like,
No one wanted
a
it.
politician.
It was great. It was great. So anyway, I knew that those were successful type of events and that people in Sonoma both sold out. People wanted that.
Yep.
So I met these folks from NPR, and they were interested in starting a speaker series. Alex Chadwick and John McChesney.
Oh.
And they had both been on the radio for years with NPR.
Are they at KQED or John McChesney?
KQED.
Yes, I thought. Okay. So
Yes.
our local affiliate in San Francisco.
Well, and actually also in Washington, D.C.
okay.
So they had retired here and they thought, we'll do a speaker series. And so I knew Sonoma,
Okay.
and they knew people to interview.
Right.
So we started it together, and we used the Hannah Center auditorium. And unfortunately, that didn't last very long. Alex ended up moving back to Washington, D.C. He had a little dementia and had to be closer to family.
Okay.
And John McChesney got leukemia and passed away.
Okay.
So it left me at the helm of the speaker series. And in some ways, it turned out to be fine because we were going in a very political direction with them, and it was only politics.
Right.
And I kind of wanted it to be more than just politics.
Gotcha.
And so, being here for so many years, I've been here now 45 years in Sonoma from New Jersey.
Okay.
And so being here so many years, I knew so many people. I had already fundraised. I had already done all this with the Mentoring Alliance. So it was a little second nature to start another nonprofit. And now I have purpose again. And I have a full-time job that I don't get paid for.
So you failed at retiring.
Yeah.
But you succeeded at building essentially a big community series.
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Which I'm very proud of, and I'm very excited, and I must love what I do because, like I say, I do it for free.
Yeah.
But, I also have an amazing cast of characters who are my volunteers.
Okay.
So we are an all-volunteer organization.
Okay.
And the 18 people that volunteer at every single event, every single month that I have it, show up, do the job. No one would know that they're just not complete professionals.
they're all
and most of them are from the Mentoring Alliance.
Okay, so let's go before people might not know
Yeah.
what the Mentoring Alliance is. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Sure, I'd love to share about the Mentoring Alliance. I just had lunch with the executive director, Susie Gallo, who's doing an amazing job. So the Mentoring Alliance is kind of a little bit of my legacy, which I am very, very proud of as well. So I started it in 1996 at Flowery Elementary School. My children were attending school there, and it was through a state grant.
Okay.
And it was originally started as an academic mentor program, helping kids read better.
Okay.
But after a nanosecond, I realized that the children who were being nominated for a mentor really needed so much more than reading in their life. They really needed a caring adult role model to stand by them. And so as those grants that we wrote in the beginning started to wane, we decided to form a nonprofit. I got a board of directors from the Kiwanis Club, which I was in.
Oh, good. Okay.
And those guys all helped me get a nonprofit started. And we called it Sonoma Valley Mentoring Alliance, and the program is called Stand By Me. And over the years, it's one-on-one mentoring for
Right.
children who could use a caring adult role model in their life,
Right.
of which there are a lot of them, and for many, many different reasons. So over the years, we've served 2,400 children with mentors. Mentors make a very serious commitment to, being in this child's life.
It's not just for one school year.
Not a school year, no. If it's working, and we hope that it will, we provide an enormous amount of support for a mentor to be successful.
Got it.
There's a whole coaching team with therapists. There's all kinds of wraparound services that we provide for the mentor as well as for the child,
Okay.
so that everybody can have a successful relationship. And it's the Match.com for children. And those people that run the mentor centers, it expanded from one school during my tenure to all public schools in Sonoma. There's a freestanding mentor center on every campus, which is like a big rec room. It's overseen by an employee that works for the program that does an amazing job making those matches and overseeing those matches and keeping them together. There's 85 or 90 different extracurricular events a year you can participate in with your mentee after school. And it's 1 hour a week during the school day on school campus in that mentor center. And if you want to do more, there's opportunity to do more.
I do have to say, Kathy, on this that the visitor center, we don't usually get a lot of direct involvement with the charity nonprofits
Yeah.
in town, because we're hospitality focused
Sure.
and stuff. But what I do love is many mentors are bringing their kids to the plaza. They do
Yes.
stuff, and a lot of them will stop by the visitor center. And it's so fun because a lot of them are like younger kids, like middle school or
Sure.
whatever. And we'll say, oh, here's a sticker. They love getting stickers. But here's the history of the plaza and here's this sort of stuff. And then saying, well, this is a public building. And they're like, we can go in here? I'm like, well, yeah, and this is a government building. That's a government. And the kids are so excited about that.
Yeah.
And, I don't think a lot of times they would feel the confidence to go in there. But having the mentor say, no, this is your town, right? This
Absolutely.
is your community.
Yep.
And I love seeing them. They're fun. And, stickers go a long way. So
Don't they?
It's fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, so tell me, okay, so now you've transitioned again. You failed as a retiree.
Thank you.
Yeah, you succeeded as starting another nonprofit. Who are some of the people that come to the speaker series, or who's coming soon that people can go find?
Glad you asked. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, we've definitely had some politicians. Those sell really well because this town is very political. And everyone's got a lot of opinions, and people really do want to come and hear what some of these folks say. We do. Let's see, I'm just thinking about people that we brought in the past that were sort of political people. We had Andrew Yang, who ran for president.
Oh, yeah.
He was here. We had Carl Bernstein. He was from Woodward and Bernstein,
yep.
All the President's Men, that movie. That sold out in 4 hours, Carl Bernstein.
Okay.
Yeah. We had Daniel Ellsberg, who released the Pentagon
Papers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've had Marie Yovanovitch, who was the U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah. Okay.
And Jackie Spear, Congresswoman Jackie
okay.
Spear, who was literally on a tarmac, shot 4
Jonestown.
times in Jonestown and left for dead and ended up surviving. And she was an incredibly inspirational speaker.
Interesting.
So we've had a lot of people of that ilk. We had Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco, best dressed person on stage.
And he's an entertaining speaker, I will tell you that.
Very entertaining.
He's always got good stories.
He was so entertaining.
He knows how to captivate an audience.
He got multiple standing ovations.
Yeah, I'm sure, of course.
Yes, the audience loved him. We have had Sunita Williams. She's the astronaut that's stuck in space right now.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
Wait, you had her before she was stuck in space?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. Good planning.
Thank
Is she
you.
still up there?
She is. She
wow.
went for 5 or 6 days, and it's going to be more like 8 or 9 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's there with another guy, and they're at the space station, and I'm sure they've got a lot that they're doing up there, but it wasn't the plan. She was supposed to come back. It was supposed to be a 6 to 8 day.
The house guests won't leave, but you can't leave this time. You're stuck.
Yeah, they're stuck. So she was very, very interesting, and we did some partnering at the high school and brought some students in to see her. J.C. Dugard, who was the kidnap victim.
Oh, right.
She was kidnapped for 18 years, had 2 children by her captor, and they found her in a shed in a backyard.
Hiding. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in California here. She was kept, like that's where she
Basically
grew up.
lived, right? Yeah.
She was kidnapped from a bus stop in Tahoe. She was very, very interesting, and she's an unbelievably resilient young woman who had a great story to tell.
Yeah.
Dr. Rebecca Bailey, who is a local therapist, was her therapist and actually became her best friend. And Rebecca came on stage, and actually she was on the stage with her, and I think she's kind of a security blanket for her in many ways, which I think I would need one if I was her. She had quite a life.
Beyond imagination.
But she's thriving, and she's a success story, so that's pretty cool. Wow. Just a couple more, and then I'll tell you who's coming. Yeah. Let's see. We had, if you like sports, we had Steve Kerr.
Oh, okay.
He sold out in 58 minutes.
Steve Kerr is actually, his interviews are great. His father, as you know, was
talked about that. Yes,
in Beirut.
Horrible story.
But like Steve Kerr is interesting because once you hear him talking and stuff like that, you can often forget that he's a basketball coach in the sense that you think basketball people are just like boom, boom, bam, and
one-dimensional. Yeah,
and he's I really enjoy his non-basketball interviews. Are quite good.
Totally, he is a very thoughtful person who is very much against guns.
Oh yeah, the gun. Well, because his father was killed.
Exactly, has quite the reason to be, and but just smart and level-headed, and not at all pretentious.
Right.
He was.
I think that's it. That's what
He's
comes
so
through.
great.
Yeah, he comes as a normal person
Yeah.
who wants to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, he was amazing. And then we also had Fred Warner, captain of the 49ers defense.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty awesome.
Does he live in the area?
He lives in San Jose.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, we get these people, we get a car, send a car, pick them up, bring them over, and he was fantastic.
Really? Okay.
He's another one who got a bunch of standing ovations. He loves his mom. I showed a video of him with his mom and made me cry, and everyone else too. And just I don't know, just these people, some of these people you think will be very different, but when you meet them, they're just stellar human beings.
Is there a thread among all your speakers or shared by a lot of the speakers that like they share in common? For example, overcoming hardship or dedication to what they do? Or are there certain things you see that certain speakers speak again and again about?
You know, I don't, because they all speak about something so very, very different. Their topics are vast and their backgrounds are so different. So I think the thing that I do check ahead of time is somewhat name recognition. So there's a lot written about them so that we really know who we're getting before we get them there.
Got it. Okay.
We have interviewers who are very well versed on these people before they get on the stage with them to interview them. So
So you don't just show up and do
no.
I do, which
Not
is
at
like
all.
Google you 5 seconds before and go, how do I pronounce Kathy Witkowicki? Okay. No, so you actually have good interviewers.
we actually, so far you're doing pretty well.
Thanks, Gabby.
So no, we have like Laura Zimmerman from Sonoma. She is one of my interviewers. David Bowling, another interviewer.
A local journalist, yeah.
Yes, David McEwen. He's out at Sonoma State University, political science department. He is an interviewer. He does a lot of our political interviews.
He's great. And it's funny because, he's on a lot of local media, but oftentimes I'll hear him quoted on national media.
He's on TV all the time.
What's this guy from Roanoke Park doing on national TV?
And he's all over the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes he's like zooming in from places far and wide in
It's so
Turkey.
weird. Yeah, it's amazing.
He's all over the place. He's
Go
amazing.
see Wolves. Okay, good.
They're all on my board. And so is Ken Wayne, who's now a new interviewer. He's going to interview Huey Lewis on Monday night.
Okay.
You know, he was on Cron News forever and KTVU before that. So we'll see how that all goes. And they're all my board members as well. So I do have another nonprofit board.
I do one that I'm sad that I missed was Nicholas Kristof was here.
Yes, he was. He was just
Great
here.
writer. I know, and
Great
I
writer.
saw he was on. He put something on Blue Sky, which we're on now for work. And I said, oh, if you like these, because I know he likes to talk about a lot of world events and stuff like
Yes.
that. And he will often bring students around the world to talk about things.
Great program he's got going on. Very great program. And people love him. They loved him before he came. They loved him a lot, even more, even after he was
And he lives
there.
like on a farm in Oregon or something.
He's got winery.
Blackberries. He's always talking. It's so funny because he feels very West Sonoma County when he starts talking about everything he's trying to do. I've got this land. I'm trying to do this.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and here's what's going on with Hamas, or here's what's going on with Iran, or here's
He's
what's going
got
on
his
in South
life
Sudan.
on the line in many cases.
Yeah.
He had one funny story where he was stopped by some, like people with armed guards who were about to, God knows, shoot him.
Right.
And, or he had to show some kind of ID, and he showed his like United Airlines card, and they thought, okay, you can go.
That's right. Whoa, this guy's got
He was like,
unlimited
okay,
flyer points.
never knew that United Airlines card was going to come in
You
so
never
handy.
know.
So so that's some of the folks that have been there, and then
who's coming up? Yeah.
Huey Lewis on Monday night.
I know. So this will be when this first comes out. That'll be either the same day or the day after. But I'm sure Huey Lewis is great. Is he from Canada originally? I think he's Canadian. But
He I can't remember. He grew up in Marin, though.
Yeah, why did I think he's Canadian? Anyway,
I don't know.
He probably isn't. Probably
Maybe
because
not.
he's so nice.
Maybe.
But Huey Lewis and the News were huge.
Huge. I went to multiple Huey Lewis concerts.
Okay.
I was a big fan. Yeah, I'm still kind of a big fan. So we're going to be playing a lot of, The Power of Love on
very
Monday
good,
night.
very
It's
good.
going to be exciting. Diana Nyad, she's,
Yes.
she is probably one of the most inspirational people I've ever heard speak. I was at the Nantucket Project in September, and it's a 4-day speaker series.
Oh, okay.
And I was fortunate enough to get to go, and Diana Nyad was one of the speakers, and she stood up in a white suit and had a bugle and blew taps before she even started.
Wait.
And she is just somebody.
She's a bugler in addition to a swimmer?
Well, I think she knew how to blow the bugle that night, but she was so inspirational. She tried multiple times to do that swim from Cuba to Florida, and she succeeded in her 60s without a shark tank.
Yeah, so, and it's I think
shark
Netflix, or there was a movie that was
Called
streaming
Nyad.
called Nyad. And
Annette Bening
it's great.
plays her.
Yeah.
And Jodie Foster plays her coach and partner. And it was up for multiple Oscars.
110-mile journey, 110.86 mile.
Yes.
From Havana to Key West in 53 hours. She swam.
Without getting out of the water
Getting
once.
out of the water. And no shark tank.
No shark tank.
Like a cage to protect
Literally
her from sharks.
nothing. I mean, if you saw the picture of her getting out of the water in that, for real, there is a video on YouTube that she just looks like, I don't even know.
Like in my face, like was her skin like
about.
you wash your hands for
Right.
wash your the dishes, you get prunes. I can't even imagine.
She just looked so, oh my gosh.
How did she? I gotta go. My
even
wife
know how
was
she
watching
could-
the movie.
Really?
I know. I was like, this looks like suffering.
Yes.
And it looked like a great movie.
It was a great movie, and it's a great testimony to the power of what you can do when you believe you can do it.
Yeah, at 60 something.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Oh, good. So I have
I
something
think
to look
she'll be
forward
good.
to. I might swim at Sonoma Splash from one side to the other.
Well, Sonoma
Katie Bailey does
Splash.
that.
Yes. Sonoma Splash is going to be a co-sponsor of that event.
Oh, they will. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I should mention Katie Bailey is a local woman here. I
do know Katie Bailey.
A distance swimmer.
Yes.
Probably in her older than her 60s.
Yes.
And
her daughter, Allison.
Right. And they go
Yes.
swimming all the they're crazy. And her son, who's on my board, Hunt, he plays fast pitch baseball. I'm like, Hunt, you're going to get hurt. He's like, well, I can't see that well anymore. So it doesn't matter. I'm like, jeez, Hunt. It's like, so I won't know when it's coming. So that whole family is kind of crazy. That's a whole other story.
They are, and I kind of love crazy families. Nick Butner is coming, and that is all about the Blue Zones. And the Blue Zones is the places where people are living to be 100, and they're still riding scooters and playing pickleball at 99. So he's going to talk a lot about the explorations to find the places that are blue zones. And, right now Petaluma
Petaluma's undergoing the Blue Zone project.
So is Upper Napa Valley.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, Angwin area up there where the a large proportion of people live longer
Yes.
up there. Is it Angwin? Yeah. I love this Blue Zone idea because it coalesces with. I'm very passionate about walking and riding your bikes in cities.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Sonoma to do a little bit more of that.
Yes.
So, slowly pushing that rock up the hill.
Right.
And I'm so glad that Petaluma has kind of put a line in the sand, so the
have.
rest of us can go like, oh, how are they going to do it?
Well-
so we can learn from them.
Yes, I've gone over and visited, and actually the woman who runs Blue Zones in Petaluma is going to do the interview for us.
Oh, great. Okay.
So that's great. Annie Lamott is coming, and she's coming on June 30th. She's a character. She is a wonderful author. She's written many, many, many books.
A lot of books. Yeah.
She was also at the Nantucket Project.
Okay.
And she was one of the speakers, but she also interviewed Hunter Biden, which was incredible. It was a real heartfelt, very, kind of raw interview of him because both of them are addicts.
Okay.
And he would only come and be interviewed if she was going to do his interview.
Really?
So she did. And, I bought his book right afterwards because it was a really cool interview, and I felt like I learned a whole lot that I didn't learn on the news. So, yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. How does that happen? And then Roy Tuscany and Alana Nichols, they are someone that I haven't heard them yet, but the McNeelys, who are my premier sponsor for my
and they
event.
do the film festival here.
And the film festival, of course, and many other nonprofits. They're great. They are going to help sponsor that event because they feel that these two people are the most, amazing people that have resilient, come back from horrible, horrible injuries and are making the best of their life.
They were injured, and now are they
One was
athletes or
skiing,
something? Okay.
and he went off of a jump. And the other, Alana, fell. She was snowboarding, and she landed on a rock on her back. And Alana has gone on to win, I think it's 6 Paralympian medals that she is competing all the time. And Roy Tuscany, her husband or partner, I'm not sure, he started what is called the High Fives Foundation, and it's a foundation for extreme athletes who've been injured who want to continue to compete or just be athletes.
Okay.
And he gives out these grants from his foundation, and it's pretty incredible. And they've helped 75 paralyzed athletes now get back on surfboards or all kinds of ways
back into doing a sport.
Yeah, they just make it happen through different mechanisms that they use. Like there's a surfboard that you can now sit on and you can paddle. And you can ride the waves. And so these people are they're just like not giving up. And that's so unique because so many people that have a life-altering injury like that, they do give up. Yeah. So anyway, they're far from giving up. And then Michael McFall is coming. He's the only person I've ever had back. I've never had a second speaker.
It's a boomerang speaker.
It's a boomerang. He was here in 2018. But a lot has changed since then, and he was the U.S. ambassador to Russia.
Oh.
And so he's
have things changed?
Things have changed.
I missed all that.
I'll talk to you about that afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty great. He's at Stanford. He's got another book out, which I'm sure will sell. We do sell books at all of our events. We partner with Readers Books. And they, of course, are a local independent bookstore. We love them. And we always have our speakers, who are also authors, sign their books ahead of time. And then people can purchase them if they want, and Readers gets some good business.
So, this is a great lineup. This is amazing.
Yeah. Trying to just keep it going here. And
again, good job at failing at retirement.
Thank you.
When people go there, how big is how many people are there basically? It's like 5,000 people?
Oh, that would be such a good problem to have. Yeah. No, I'm really waiting for some sort of a really big indoor facility to be built somewhere
don't
on
hold
the
your breath.
SDC campus, maybe.
Do not hold your breath.
Yeah, I know. That's what people have said. I can fit 350 people in there.
Okay.
That's about the maximum number of chairs, and it's in the auditorium.
Got it.
Oftentimes, I will have a few more than that, like most times.
Right.
But people are also, my board is willing to stand.
Good.
I have volunteers. They are willing to stand. I bring some benches and put them in the back. But you do need to do a speaker series indoors. You can't, people are like, oh, you should open it up to the outside.
Right.
Wind, weather, chilly,
Birds,
cold, hot.
it doesn't work.
So many things doesn't work for speakers. And the main thing is you need to be able to hear. So I'm pretty strict about keeping it in an indoor facility. But I tell you what, I leave a lot of money on the table every single event because I have a waiting list, and sometimes it's 2 pages long.
Well, that's why, like the Nicholas Kristof one, I was like, oh, it's sold out. And like Huey Lewis, it's sold out.
Sold out.
They sell out so fast.
Sometimes they sell out so fast that I actually started a program this year, which was very lucrative for me, and it was a great idea. I have to give my husband some credit because he thought of it.
Good job.
It's an early access ticket program. So if you donated a $500 donation or more, tax-deductible donation, you get early access to tickets.
Got it. The first
and you
batch
get
is
3 days before they go on sale to the general public. So you never will miss out on an event.
But there's not like in repertory theater where you buy like a season pass or something.
I don't have a season pass yet. I tell you, this is the first season since 2016. And I did take a couple of years off during COVID. But this is the first season where I've actually got this many speakers scheduled in a row. Normally, I'm kind of got 2 scheduled, and I don't know who the rest are going to be yet.
Oh, this is like doing a podcast.
And I don't like to, I don't want to like sell a season pass and say, we've got 2. But we're going to have more, but I don't know who they are.
At a later date. Right.
Yeah. I'd rather not have to refund people. So, but I might do subscriptions in the future.
I started this with saying that we're at a time when public discourse is probably not at its most, what's the proper word here? Like it's not that good.
Right.
I'll just be clear. Americans are not doing a good job of not just talking to each other, but actually listening to each other.
Right.
You guys have like a code of conduct.
We do.
That you put on there.
Yeah.
What does this work? How did this come about, and what's the spirit behind that?
It's a good question. So every once in a while, we'll get a speaker who has some controversy around them. Or here's just an example. One of the speakers we were supposed to have last year was Bethany Hamilton.
Okay.
And Bethany Hamilton was scheduled for October, and she is the girl who was in Hawaii when she was 12 and the shark bit her arm off.
Right. Okay.
And I was very excited to get her because I felt like a lot of moms were bringing their kids to see her, their daughters, because she's
inspirational story.
Very inspirational story. Again, she's won national titles with one arm, but she had come out very recently and started talking about transgender athletes. That she was very against them. She wasn't going to compete in any kind of a competition if there was a transgender athlete in her competition.
Got it.
And there started to be a lot of picketing and a lot of people following her and standing outside of events that she was going to be speaking at with signs and upset. And so we spoke with Brandon Cutting,
the police chief here.
And said, we want to make sure that we have some sort of, security. And I it's not like I need the police force to be in here, but I don't know what we would do if we were just a bunch of volunteers, right?
right.
I'm not quite sure how we would handle it if it got unruly. So he said, we are happy to be there and be in the vicinity if that happens. He said, but I tell you what you do need. You do need to have a code of conduct, because if people don't know the expectation of what is expected and what's not okay, then I can't really remove them if they start being, heckling or yelling or doing something that we think is very disruptive. And he said, so if you have something that's in writing and you also have a sign at the door so that people know what's expected and what won't be tolerated, then I can actually do something. Okay. So that was the impetus for that. Okay. Unfortunately, Bethany's nephew drowned in his bathtub at 3.5 years old.
Oh, dear.
5 days before she was scheduled to appear.
Okay.
So she canceled, and of course, with very good reason and totally understood. But, I might have her back in the future. So that was the impetus as to why we even put that on there.
Do you make an announcement at the beginning of the series? Like, hey, guys, you might not agree with these people, but let's be respectful.
If I have somebody that I think is going to be controversial, obviously there's nothing much controversial about Huey Lewis, so I don't have to say something like that. But if I do have, someone who sometimes with politics, I will say though, we're a pretty liberal community, and the people that come to the Speaker Series are also very liberal. And the speakers I have are pretty liberal.
This is, of all the Northern Californias, this is often the most Northern California of it all.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes to our detriment, but you're right, we are very, this tends to be that way.
And I'll tell you, I've got somebody that I'd love to have come, and, is Liz Cheney. And I've got my sights set on her in the future. Right. She would be a Republican.
Of course. Yeah.
But she's also somebody that I think a lot of liberal people would love to hear from.
I think absolutely.
So, I have people like that in my mind for the future.
We used to, and like I say we used to, I just remember shows like Firing Line and the different, before we had TV that was just one way.
Yeah.
There seemed to be a little more, like remember when Buckley would have other people on?
Oh, yes.
And we would have these like discussions, and there wasn't yelling. I mean, maybe there was a little bit of witty repartee.
Right.
But it wasn't going for the jugular all the time.
Right.
And like, you're a bad person.
Right.
It was like, Kathy, I disagree with your points, and here's why.
Right.
And then you would say, okay, Tim, I can hear you, but here's why I disagree with you on point B.
Yeah.
And it was much more civil, I thought. And maybe I'd be wrong, because I know, they say back in the days of Jefferson, the newspapers were awful, right? And Jefferson versus Adams and stuff like that. But boy, things are hyped up. And I don't know if they are. And I know, I can't even, that's just being, I'm selling it short there. Things are incredibly intense.
They are. This latest election, yeah. I feel like you're either on one side or the other, and there isn't any middle ground. And, it's a shame. I don't know that I want to be on a stage where I have to worry too much about that, to tell you the truth. I want our people who are buying their tickets to really enjoy
Right.
what we have going on. So I don't want to bring somebody that's so too controversial, because I don't know that we want to have the platform for that.
No, and that's also, you know, it's like the colleges, you know, they all get money for speakers.
Yeah.
It's the different clubs. Some of them do it deliberately to provoke people.
Sure.
And that, I think, sometimes is like, okay, now we're learning how to work with the First Amendment. But sometimes it's a bad lesson. Sometimes an object lesson is bad.
Yeah, and
Like you're just trying to provoke people just to provoke people.
And I don't want to be provoking people. I want people to really feel like they get their money's worth and they've really enjoyed and they've come away. You know, not everything that's said is everyone agrees with, but they go away and they have food for thought.
Do you think people going there have the tools and the abilities to formulate their questions so that they're not, you know, angry, but they're able to, like, okay, I'm a mature person. I can ask you a good question and I'll be happy with if I don't agree with it. Do we have that?
We do. Okay. We do. We have I would say that, first of all, the bulk of our audience is on the older side. Mm-hmm. I would say our audience consists mainly of people like 50 to 80. Mm-hmm. And very mature and very savvy, and they come because they know what they're talking about, and they
want to be informed.
They want to be more informed than they already are, but they've done their homework. So there's very thoughtful questions.
Okay.
The one thing I do have to say sometimes is people don't have a question right away. They have a very big story. And then we have a lot of people that are like, just ask the question. So we do try and say just a question.
That's great.
Keep it short, so there's others that have their hand raised and they all want to get a turn.
Brevity is the soul of wit.
Yes. We do have a VIP reception with the speaker prior to every show. Oh. So just so you know, there's two very, very reasonably priced tickets. Mm-hmm. It's a true community event. $40 for a general admission ticket and $95 for a VIP ticket, which includes an hour-long reception with the speaker in a separate room where you have complimentary beer, wine, delicious appetizers, a meet and greet with the speaker, photos by Melania Mahoney, and reserved seating in the first 4 rows.
So that's prior to the event.
That's prior to the event. And then when you go into the auditorium, you get reserved seating in the first, up front in the first 4 rows.
That's cheaper than going to a concert.
Yes, it is very much cheaper.
That's just the $40, but even the premium experience.
Premium experience, people are like, you're underselling. You know, you should charge more. But I'll tell you what, everything charges more. And there's so many galas and so many wonderful fundraising events that have to charge more because they're in the fundraising business. I'm kind of in the fundraising business too, but I also know that I would like this to be something that not only the people in the hills can afford, but that the vast majority of citizens and community members can attend, you know. And I also give away tickets a lot. I try to include, if there's any high school kids that want to go to some of these events, we try and reserve seats for free.
I love that.
Nonprofits that I partner with, same thing.
Okay.
So
it seems like similar to the Authors Festival, the film festival. There's always this like a mission that's also socially focused.
Yes.
Tickets for the high schoolers, tickets for people who you know, or if you want to be a part of it but you don't have the money, come volunteer.
Yes.
We'll get you in there somehow.
Yeah.
So I do love that.
We try and just keep it very community oriented.
Okay.
And I think so far so good.
And I think for people who are coming to visit here, you guys also offer with the Fairmont Sonoma Mission Inn, I see 25% off lodging.
Fairmont is our lodging sponsor. Okay. They're golden. They're amazing.
Good spot.
I love working with them. They also occasionally we will do a dinner the night before with the speaker at the Fairmont.
That's a good spot. I mean, come on.
Great. Santé.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Yeah.
I like their GM. Kareem's a nice guy. He moved here from Canada. He's from France originally, and very motivated and community-minded.
Yeah, and Michelle Heston is their regional director. She's amazing. She's a great friend.
And she'll make you into a cake. She's she's like a famous fondant cake maker.
Yeah.
Michelle.
She's got way too many talents.
We're still waiting for the podcast cake, Michelle. We'll see what she does here.
That's great.
But before we move on to the next section here, if people want more information, Kathy, or they want to buy tickets, what is your website?
Sonoma Speaker Series.com.
That was pretty easy.
Very easy.
Sonoma Speaker
SonomaSpeakerSeries.com.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
the best way to find stuff.
And everything that I just mentioned is on there, and everything you'd ever need to know is on there. And so it's great.
And if people suggest like, oh, here's a good speaker I think you should look at, is there a place where they can contact you?
All the time. Yes, there is. There's a contact button on that page, and it comes to my email, and I get a lot of that. And to tell you the truth, the best way for me to actually be able to afford some of these speakers is to go through people who know them.
Yeah, because you got to fly them in, put them up,
Everything.
feed them.
Everything.
Hey, we'll give them visitor guides and stickers.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be
so
good.
we're in,
Stickers. I heard stickers
People
work.
love stickers.
They love stickers. Yeah, it's come back in your next life as a speaker. I'm going to.
It was funny back in those days in college when we were, booking the different speakers.
Yeah.
You'd get this is back, before it was online. You get a pamphlet, and you're like, what the hell? This guy's going to come in and talk for 60 minutes.
Yes.
And here's their contract.
Oh, yeah.
And it's thousands of dollars.
Thousands would be good. Hundreds of thousands.
This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can get a speaker that's under $30,000, I'm lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is high quality, top notch, world class. I'm using all the superlatives.
Well, there is those speaker bureaus, and they have to make money. And
There's that.
They represent them, and you can't go around those speaker bureaus because they've got a contract.
They represent the speaker.
So yeah, it's an interesting business. I'm learning a lot.
Right.
I figured throw a few bucks at them and put them up in the Fairmont, and they'd be happy to come to wine country. Yeah, it doesn't
only it
work
was that
way.
easy, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, if only.
If only. Well, okay, great. So again, if people have more questions about the Sonoma Speaker Series, you can go to SonomaSpeakerSeries.com. You can buy tickets. You can also see past events and stuff there.
And who's coming up?
You're not done with this podcast, though.
I'm not.
Did you know that you're going to have to answer some questions?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Kathy, in addition to learning about the Sonoma Speaker Series, which we're so grateful you did that, we have everyone on our podcast answer questions. Okay, so we have 2 visitor centers. People call us, they text us. This is a segment we call We Get Questions. Here we go. The trees on the Sonoma Plaza are incredible, and some of them are huge. Who takes care of all those trees?
For me to answer this question, would that be the city of Sonoma? Their maintenance department.
You're right.
There you go.
You're absolutely spot on. This is someone walked up at the plaza. We have eucalyptus trees. Sometimes they call them blue gum. They're not native to here. They are kind of controversial. The plaza is full of beautiful trees.
And they're all lit up. Are they still lit up?
One is still lit up,
Just
which
the
is
palm
the
tree?
palm tree.
Okay.
Yes, we just took them down last week, but you're good. But yeah, so the eucalyptus, a lot of people talk about it because it's actually split into multiple branches. It's massive, like trunks. It's huge. And the answer is, you're right, the city of Sonoma. Mike Berger, Brian, all those guys, their entire squad is out there from Department of Public Works and the parks, making sure the trees are healthy. And we also bring in outside help because after every windstorm, branches fall down.
Yes, they do.
And they got to go up there and trim them, make sure people are safe. So yeah, the staff does. So hey, City of Sonoma, good
All
work.
right.
Keep
Good
it up.
work. Yep, love it.
By the way, if you look at old photos, the Historical Society of the plaza, and people say, we can't change the plaza. It's got to be the way it was historically. Patricia Collinen from the Historical Society is like, what, you mean mud and like horse crap? Yeah, no. Thank God the Women's Club and all the different groups adopted the plaza and made it a beautiful park.
Yes.
And it can change slowly over time.
Totally.
Yes. That was fun.
As everything else does.
As everything does. Okay, here's another one we got. This was actually on Facebook, and it said, hello, we just moved here from the East Bay, and we're looking for good Mexican food, especially from Oaxaca and Michoacan. Got any ideas? Yeah.
Well, I don't exactly know where everyone is from.
What state?
How about El Molino?
El Molino is fantastic, and that's a lot of different areas.
La Casa. I've been going to La Casa.
You're a La
since
Casa
I moved
person,
here.
are you? Okay.
Yes.
What do you go to at La Casa? Like, what's like one of your go-to dishes?
Oh my gosh, chili relleno.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
My mentee loves Hacienda.
Laha.
So yes,
Bob, the station manager here, he's like, oh, we're getting margs at Laha. Come on. Margaritas there.
We don't have margs with my mentee, but we definitely have burritos.
Maybe in 20 years.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
La Hacienda is a favorite.
Hers definitely her favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good outdoor patio there.
Yeah. It's just easy and great.
Yeah,
So,
there are a lot. It's funny because a person from the East Bay, like, where can we find good Mexican food? I'm like, you cannot swing a tortilla and not hit a great Mexican restaurant around here.
You're not kidding.
Sonoma Eats has Oaxacan food, I know for a fact. Michoacan, a lot of people from Michoacan have moved here, so there's a lot of that type of food. There's even, it's actually from Jalisco, but it's called a torta ahogada, which is a drowned sandwich from Jalisco. It is so good. It is so spicy. It's a sandwich that they smother with a super spicy hot sauce.
Oh, I can't even
it's
imagine
so good.
right
It's
now.
so good.
I
so
can't
good.
do spicy.
It's so good. So anyway, person from the East Bay, I know you think like, oh, I'm from the East Bay, everything's better. No, we have really good Mexican food up here in Sonoma Valley. You're very lucky. So you can enjoy that. Okay. Hi. Are there ever special wine tasting offers for people who want to try new wineries but don't want to commit to more elaborate tastings? They just want to try a little trial.
I would say most places.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Honestly, I don't think, I do wine tastings whenever I have company visit because that's what everyone wants to do.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you were to walk into most tasting rooms that don't require an appointment,
Right.
and you were to say, I don't want an elaborate tasting. How can I do this? They'll work with you because I think tasting rooms want and need the business right now.
Absolutely.
A, there's a lot of competition. B, tasting rooms are sort of closing faster than they're opening. And so, I would say, my whole motto in life is if you don't ask, people can't say yes. So I ask for everything.
Oh, that's smart.
Isn't that a great motto?
Yeah. Okay.
So you ask. What's the worst thing that can happen?
They will. And matter of
say
fact,
no.
I've even got, this is a bit of a ringer question because we even have, starting February 15th for you, so tell your friends who are coming to visit you,
Okay.
the new Sonoma Sips campaign. It runs from February 15th to March 15th, $15 tastings.
Oh my gosh. And the poster is adorable.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ryan Michaud, local Glen Ellen resident, or maybe from Kenwood. Some guy lives up Valley. He's a graphic designer. He's got a radio show too. He made these posters. So
You can't beat a $15 tasting.
You cannot.
It's funny. I used to think that tastings should just be free. And they used to be in the very early days.
Yes. And so that's actually a good question we get sometimes. So is that a question you're asking about free tastings?
Well, are there any left?
There are a few and far between. But the reason being that used to be a lot of free tastings and they were exactly a very small pour. Right? Small pour, standing up, very informal. And it was a classic kind of situation.
Right.
Then the bachelor and bachelorette party showed up. And you ruined everything. No, so it became a little untenable to have large groups come in. And let's say you've only got one person behind the bar doing it. And that one person wants to talk to people from Dallas who are interested in wine and someone from Sacramento. And then here comes 20
girls with a sash.
Sashes and other accoutrement of a bachelorette party. So sometimes they would use that as a way to kind of slow down people's roll.
Yeah.
And then tastings get a little more elaborate.
Yeah.
During COVID, it became like make a reservation, sit down, separated. And so then the wineries had to adjust that time. We haven't quite gotten to the point where we were back in the 80s where it was like 2 barrels and a plank and like some farmer like, this is Infidel and it might shock you that it's red. And you're like, oh my gosh, we're not there. I don't know if everything does change. And sometimes because a lot of us are drinking box jugged wine back then.
Yeah.
But there are still a few that have really cheap, I shouldn't say cheap, value tastings. But there's also ones that, like, if you invest in the bigger experience, they're really fun.
Sure.
But I can understand if you're new to wine tasting, you're like, I don't know if I want to commit to a 90-minute or 2-hour sit-down experience.
Well, I will say just quickly, I remember when if you bought a bottle, they would waive the tasting fee.
Yep.
That doesn't happen. But I also remember sometimes when I'd have company, I would take them to Napa.
Yeah.
And honestly, it would be like, oh my God, there's a guy with a tuxedo and take a number and sit down and we'll call you when there's a space at the bar. And it was $25 or $40 for a tasting. And I was like, I just give me a loaf of bread and a bottle of something, and I'm going a jug right now. I'm going out to the picnic table.
And you can go to the plaza and drink.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. That is an experience in other places that are just east of the Eden that is Sonoma. But here, there's still by and large, I was talking to Laura Schermeister. She and her husband run Schermeister Winery in Glen Ellen. They're the ones who greet you. They're the ones that pour for you.
Which I love.
It's, and so there's a lot of that. You go to La Prenda and Kayla's there and she's pouring for you and stuff like that. So we don't have deservedly the same reputation that other places might have.
Yeah.
But yeah, the free tastings probably aren't going to come back anytime soon.
I wouldn't expect them
But
to.
Starbucks doesn't give me free coffee.
You're right.
Pete's
You're
doesn't
right.
give me free stuff.
Right.
You should. Because I only drink quality. No. So
For all the time I spend at Pete's.
exactly.
You should. Yeah.
Okay, final question we got here.
All right.
We are hosting, this one I think came in through email. Okay, so we are hosting a dinner party with a diverse group of people and we'll be featuring many Sonoma Valley wines. Because the group has varying opinions on so many things and public discourse seems so fraught, what advice would you give on how to keep conversation civil, and should I offer a sparkling wine?
You should always offer a sparkling wine. That's my answer. That goes without saying. But how to keep conversations civil should just be something you say up front, which is, guess what? Politics is off the table.
Okay.
Talk about it on your own, but not at my party. And that's what I would say. And then I would heavily pour the bubbles.
You're like, more champagne?
More champagne, anyone?
Here's some Gloria Ferrera.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
like this.
There you go.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah.
host. You can say, hey, guys,
That's right. That's
we're out of
right.
here.
I'm in charge.
I like that. Is that like at the speaker series? Like you get the microphone, you just cut
That's
it right
it. I can say what I
You're
want.
done. Well, Kathy, this has been wonderful. You have
you.
definitely told me so much about founding the speaker series and bringing in interesting people. Is there anything else I forgot to ask you, or anything else you wanted to say about it? Or
I would just say that if people haven't been there, I would love you to pick one speaker and give it a try this year and see if it's something you like. Because you don't know what you don't know until you go, and you might be pleasantly surprised. We have a very large mailing list, so if you are interested in tickets, because I can only seat 350 and I have 5,000 on a mailing list, get a ticket quickly because they do sell out sometimes in hours.
Okay.
And then, you're on a waiting list. So, and if anyone would like to build a really big venue, I would be very happy to populate it.
You will find a place.
Yeah.
And you will
Some
put
land,
people inside of it.
That'd be good.
Got
Just give us something that we can use, for these indoor events so that we can actually make it more and more meaningful for more and more people.
Perfect. Great. Well, Kathy, I appreciate you being here. And again, that was SonomaSpeakerSeries.com. And everybody, after you've finished going to SonomaSpeakerSeries.com, you signed up for the waiting list, you've given them the premium access, you've done everything you want, please go to SonomaValley.com for more information, especially our Sonoma Sips campaign starting February 15th. And we're in the middle of our Winter Wellness, which goes until April, 100 days of winter wellness in Sonoma Valley. Mom and Dad, thanks for listening. Hope you guys are all doing well. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me.